Stress can not only impact your waistline, but also your hormones. And here to tell us how to avoid stress eating are wellness coaches Ashley Sorensen and Dr. Tara Provost. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming in. Stress eating, oh my goodness, all of us can relate to that a little bit. But let's talk first about how our hormones may be affected by stress. You want to start with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of times too, so you get that stress, and what stress does is it actually increases your blood sugars. And so that's where those kind of sugar cravings, carb cravings come in. And so your body goes into fight or flight mode. And so it doesn't want to reproduce at that point. You know, it's just trying to survive. And so that's where the hormone levels can go down, because you keep kind of feeding that fight or flight response. And then when you don't actually, ancestrally run from the bear or fight it, the body's like, well, we didn't use this energy, so we're going to store it as fat. And then it starts that vicious cycle again. That's where you get that crash, you get those cravings, you have that cup of coffee or sugar, and then kind of just keep going in that vicious cycle.
Because you want to reach for those not so good things to kind of give you that energy really quick. And so it's easier to just try and, recoup that energy stores that your body has taken away, and try and, get that back with that candy bar or a cup of coffee.
Stress eating, comfort foods kind of go hand in hand, I would think. When you're stressed, you reach for things that would be comfort foods and not healthy foods.
Like those 5-hour energy, thinking, okay, I need that. Well, then it just creates this vicious stress cycle is what we call it, and leads back into the same thing, and then more fat storage.
Okay, so I would imagine being aware of it, number one, is key. But are there different things, if you recognize it, that you could replace with the 5-hour energy, or, the Snicker bar? I think when I'm hangry, that's what I want to go for.
Exactly.
What are some different supplements or meal replacements that would be healthier options?
Yeah, so some supplement options. One of my favorites is ashwagandha. And so it helps to just balance your hormones. So if they're too low, it'll help to bring them up. If they're too high, it'll help to bring them down. So it can be taken at any time of day, whether it's, in the morning to combat anxiety, or in the evening if you're having insomnia and trouble sleeping. And then Ashley has some really great kind of recipe and food options too that can be reached for instead of the candy bar.
So both in being proactive, providing your body the right nutrients, because that stress is going to rob our bodies of all these nutrients. So vitamins B, C, magnesium. So things like oatmeal in the morning with some blueberries and almonds. And then we have a recipe actually on our Facebook page, the Fargo Women's Wellness, and it's called a stress busting salad. We have like leafy greens, so good for magnesium, and then blueberries, either turkey or salmon. So turkey has that tryptophan, kind of helps the relaxation, and then salmon, the fats too, so for hormone production again. Lots of nuts and seeds. So, an apple for energy instead of a cup of coffee. So natural, real food. Even instead of green tea. Green tea, we hear great things, but also it is a stimulant. So try and bring it back to food as medicine.
So a little pre-planning to stop that cycle, because some of these things can reduce the stress before you even get there.
Yeah, so especially doing that like for lunch, because that afternoon 2-3 o'clock crash is kind of what's most common with people who have issues with their kind of adrenal fatigue. And so having for lunch that stress busting salad, and then when that 2-3 o'clock, if you are still getting hangry, reaching for a handful of almonds or a quarter cup of blueberries, something like that is a better snack.
And even some dark chocolate, like put all those three things together and great snack.
Great. You had me at chocolate. Dark chocolate. Okay. Good stuff. Well, ladies, great information today, and we all need a little help with keeping the stress levels in check.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is. Thank you. Stay with us. Coming up here on North Dakota Today, we're going to go back on out and check in with Chris at that brand new Med Park Medical Center.